Be the Talk, episode 161, featuring M.L. Brookshire. Welcome to Be the Talk. We go behind the talk 7 days a week for tips and techniques to help you change the world. I'm Nathan Eckel, and a talker myself. I'm interviewing others who change the world with their talk. You can too, even if you've never given a talk before. Let's get started with today's show. We are live with M.L. Brookshire. M.L., are you ready to talk?
Yes, I am.
M.L. Brookshire is a consummate marketing maven, a social media strategist, and a talk show hostess. Her recent TEDx talk was called Drown Out the Naysayers. M.L. Brookshire, welcome to the talk.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Well, I really enjoyed your talk, and you're really all about empowering other people. If I got one thing out of your talk, it's that people need to be empowered to really create the boundaries over their life, to set their course, to determine what needs to be done to get there, and then to, as you say, to drown out those naysayers who can really get in the way of the success that we want to achieve. Can you just take a couple of minutes and just summarize your talk for us, ML?
Okay, so basically what I proposed in that particular presentation for TED was that the people closest to you who know your beginning are never comfortable with finding out your ending. They have an issue with familiarity breeding contempt to the point where they are unable to see beyond who they think you are. And sometimes it's very limiting because it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be a spouse, a sibling, those who know you best. So what will happen is when you share your dream with them, your mother would say, no, you were supposed to be an engineer. You can't go and be a fashion designer. And then she'll drown out all of the energy and all of the ability that you have within you to creatively bring about the dream that you have for yourself. And it's all because they think you're speaking in your interest. Some do, actually, who think that they're actually speaking to make a point to help you along the path of what life has in store for you. But on the flip side, you'll find a stranger who admires you from a distance, who simply believes in you without knowing who you are, and is ready to do everything purposely to help you get to your goal. So what happens is you have to find in your life at least 3 people who are champions of your cause, 3 people who believe in you beyond a shadow of a doubt, 3 people who wake up and live vicariously through you and want to make sure that they can succeed against all odds because of who you are, and believe that you're their cash cow, you believe that you're their role model, believe that you're their best advocate in terms of what life has in store for them. And when you speak to these people, and you tell them whatever your dream is, they jump up and down. They shout and they yell and they scream in joy because they truly feel and believe that you are going to be successful at whatever it is you put your mind to. So when I say you should run out the naysayers, I'm pretty much talking about those closest to you who can harm you by virtue of their knowledge of you. We are all growing entities. Change is constant. The only constant in life is change. So we are not who they think we were in high school. Neither are we who they think we were growing up as a child. We are beyond their expectations and who they've summarized us to be in their minds. So when you drown them out and you filter only the positive energy of those who believe in you, yes, it is possible to have some closest friends, allies, parents, children, spouses who do believe in you. Yes, it is possible that some people allow for you to be beyond who you are, and it is possible to have closest people in your life who believe in you. But more than ordinarily, what you find is once they know you well enough, once familiarity breeds contempt, once they think they figured you out, once they think they have an idea of what your purpose is that you may want to actually change and alter, then they become very limiting in their expectations of you. So my whole presentation for 18 minutes and under, by virtue of the TED requirements and limitations, was for people to understand that we are beyond what people's thoughts are about us, what people's impressions are about us, what people's desires and beliefs are about us, and we can transform, we can transition, we can translate our goals, aspirations, and objectives to very positive, doable, actionable pursuits in life that we will be able to sojourn this journey called life in a happy, very fulfilling manner, because everybody's definition of success is very different. Everybody's terms are also different, and on your own terms, you can succeed however you want to.
I think that's extremely powerful. And really, you've encapsulated the personal growth journey that we're all on, especially those of us that are self-employed or in business or creating things or entrepreneurial. I think it really starts, as you say, with creating that new reality and then strategically, being willing to, when you need to, block out some of those people that are not going to celebrate what you're doing. And I love that you mentioned finding those 3 people that are going to jump up and down and scream. I love how you described the kind of enthusiasm that qualifies them to be one of your 3 people. I've got to ask you this question, ML. I mean, I've found that finding people like that is not always easy to find. Somebody that's going to jump up and down and scream and celebrate my success, and I'll do the same for them. How have you found, where have you found them? How have you found them? What's a good way to go about seeking out and kind of hunting in a good way these people in a real strategic way so that you can find these people?
Yes, my spiritual mentor advised me when I moved to Houston a week before the hurricane. She said, ML, do not go join the Ghanaian Association of Houstonians just because you're from Ghana, and think of being a part of a community where you find peers and affiliates who are just like you. Find people much, much older than you are and much, much younger than you are. The millennials will look up to you and be inspired by you and will never compete with you in your space. And the much older ones have been there, done that, and will never look down on you and say, hey, why are you taking my shine away from me? So try to avoid people who are a year or 2 above you or below you, and look for the very much older, very much younger, and by virtue of them not being in the same generation as you are, they see things completely differently. They also see things without having a competitive filter as to wanting to be like you. They see you as wanting to be a mini version of themselves, or an adult version of who they want to be. So these people, by virtue of them just being in these generations, are actively out there waiting for you to grab onto, to be in their lives and for them to be in your lives. And then when you do find those people in those brackets, what happens is you can find somebody who's along the same path of what you're trying to do, and you learn wisdom nuggets from them for being much older. And then the younger ones who are more tech savvy, who are much more social media driven, will then also be able to give you insights as to how to achieve your own goals in your baby boomer stage or generation X or Y stage that you're in, and you can even learn from them. So it becomes a mentorship, mentee kind of relationship that is very fulfilling and very strategic, because both of you in the relationship don't have anything to stand to gain or lose by the affiliation. But what you do have to gain in the process is fulfilling interaction that is positive, that is inspiring, that is motivational, and all the positivity you can think of by virtue of aligning yourself with these people.
ML, I love that advice, because I think it can be appropriated to all of us. I mean, if you are, I think, I keep going to the entrepreneurial example just because and many of our listeners in Talk Universe are entrepreneurs. If we're constantly going to, for example, networking meetings, and all we're doing is networking, and we don't have anything that is uniquely special that we can offer, or any way to really differentiate ourselves in a pretty significant way, then it's going to be really hard to be able to celebrate one another when there's so much similarity for a very limited amount of resources, meaning available business. So I think that there are that's a principle to go where there are a lot of people that are not like you and know your value and bring it in there and offer that value. And I think that finding people who are a whole lot younger than you and a whole lot older than you, that's a great way of doing that. Is that a fair way to say that, or would you prefer to have that said a different way, ML?
No, that's precisely it. And also I'd like to add that you need to go, someone said to me, you need to go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. So if you go where you're celebrated and not tolerated, everything about you is dynamite. Everything about you is exciting. Everything about you is promising. As opposed to going where you're tolerated and then everything, oh my gosh, she's too much. Oh my gosh, she's too this. Because now, as a Ghanaian American, I'm a breed of both cultures, of what I grew up in Africa before coming to America on full scholarship to go to college. So now that I'm American and I'm exposed to all of these nuances, all of these opportunities and potential that people have within them, I realized that as an African growing up in Ghana, I was never allowed to celebrate who I was as a person. We're not allowed to speak back to parents, not allowed to speak back to our adults, peers, people ahead of us. And so we keep so much bottled in within us and inside of us that we don't really get to appreciate who we are. So then you become an accountant trying to, people doing accounting, envying the lawyers envying the doctors envying the fashion designer. But what happens is if you just stayed in your own lane, if you just stayed in what you were meant to be as a person, you could find greatness within yourself, just, blindfolding all other excesses out and focusing on the tunnel vision of you succeeding at your own pace. And also, it's not a sprint to succeed in life. It's always, like I said, endurance is key. So it's a marathon. And with marathons, you can take a breath here and there, take a misstep here and there, maybe, stumble upon a stone here and there, maybe your shoelace comes undone. But at the end of the day, it's just about reaching the goal at your own pace, on your own terms, and getting to success and bringing things to fruition at your own terms in life.
We've been enjoying this conversation with ML Brookshire, and her talk is called Drown Out the Naysayers. ML just mentioned my motto for the year, which is go where you're celebrated instead of just where you're tolerated. So she has special powers, and we are going to be right back with ML Brookshire in just a moment with the Blitz Round. People ask, how could I start a 7-day-a-week podcast? It's because of what I've learned from my mentors. Some of the best mentors in history aren't around anymore. They've left hours of one-on-one mentoring behind in their books. Each month at Classics on Tap, I record a new chapter from a classic business book to help you make a difference. Download your first chapter at classicsontap.com. And we're back with the Blitz Round with ML Brookshire. This is the part of the podcast where I ask ML a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and the actual performance of her recent branded talk. ML, are you ready for the Blitz Round?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well, here's my first question. Were you selected to speak or did you apply?
I was selected by individuals who are curators for the TEDx in Accra, who heard me speak at other functions and felt that I would have an indelible impact on the community at large, and then they selected me to speak at TED for TED.
Are you a memorizer, an improviser, or more of a blender?
I'm a blender, but I think more so I go off the cuff, so I never know exactly what I'm going to say when I start.
Did you have nerves, or were you in the zone, or neither, or both?
Not at all. I never get nervous about speaking. It's been something that's been exciting for me since I was a child. I've always looked in the mirror and had a comb that I was talking to the mirror and think I was going to be an actress. I thought of Elizabeth Taylor, I was going to be the Black Elizabeth Taylor of Ghana when I was growing up, so I've always wanted to be in the limelight. I've always wanted to speak. I'm a more powerful writer than I am a speaker, but since I haven't gotten to publishing anything yet, I figured I'll do the speaking part until that time comes through.
ML, what's a tip, a technique, or a tool that helped you?
I would say the tip for me is being comfortable with who I am. So because I'm comfortable in my own skin, I don't make any apologies for who I am. I'm very happy and fulfilled. And if you see yourself successful as of today, you won't even have to worry about what happens tomorrow because you're already successful as of today. So it's not as if you're going to be disappointed if it doesn't get much better. It's not as if you're going to be disappointed if it gets worse because you already have achieved a level of success already. So it's devastating for people who want to maybe, let's say, be a millionaire and things get worse for them or better, and they just don't know in what place, how to place the thoughts of success in their minds. But the main thing is, if you see yourself today as 1st of June, I'm happy and comfortable with who I am, it won't matter what 2nd of June has in store for me. Yes, of course, it's good to be ambitious, good to be driven, good to be assertive, good to be, passionate, have a motivation, and then find inspiration from within. Yes, all that is good. But what if, you don't have all that? What if you're just happy with the status quo? What if you're just happy being mediocre or average? Doesn't mean that you should live a less quality of life than the next person. No. It means that maybe you're just happy being a housewife. You're just happy being a mom, just happy being behind the scenes and supporting a husband who's very driven. And all of those goals, if you put them and actionable steps are achievable and attainable, and by all means are honorable because they are your goals. And no one can work on your dreams better than you can yourself. So, of course, you should by all means try to aspire to do the best that you can do. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to just be average at work and not try to aspire to be the supervisor or the manager or the director or the chief marketing officer. All of those are for people who want that. And if you don't want that for yourself and you figure it out early enough, you don't have to justify explaining yourself to anybody. You just justify that to your own self. You look yourself in the mirror and you say, look, I was not born to be this person. I was not created to be this person. In my mind, that is. And once you agree and you feel that you have made that decision for yourself, you will have no problem being who you want to be at whatever level you are in life and also within whatever circumstance you find yourself.
So we've been enjoying the Blitz round with ML Brookshire. I want to let you know where you can go to actually watch her talk. It's called Drown Out the Naysayers. If you don't want to type that into YouTube, you can go to our show notes page at BeTheTalk.com. We will have a clickable link and you can watch that talk, Drown Out the Naysayers, as well as you'll be able to connect and link in with ML on her LinkedIn profile. We'll have a link for that as well. And in just a moment, we're going to be right back with ML Brookshire for the 15-second final word of advice. Everyone wants to change the world, but not everyone knows the first step. Before you can change the world with your talk, it has to be selected. So grab the templates, timelines, and tools that I use to get my talk selected at BeTheTalk.com. And we're back with ML Brookshire. It's time for the final word of advice for Talk Universe.
So basically, I would say, I read somewhere that be yourself. There's only one of you out there. There's no one else with your DNA, with your thumbprint, with your life living out there on this entire planet. Of 7-8 billion people, there will be no one just like you, however you are made in the image and likeness of God himself. So he has a purpose for everyone.
ML Brookshire, thank you so much for coming on the talk today and sharing your wisdom with Talk Universe.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Be The Talk. For tips and resources to help you change the world, go to BeTheTalk.com. See you tomorrow.